Who doesn't love apple pie, especially if it's baked to perfection? It's a perfect dessert after a meal or afternoon snack served with tea or coffee. What are you waiting for? Come on and let's start our pie crust. In a bowl, we have 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon salt, 125 grams of unsalted butter cut into dice shape, 1/2 cup of cold milk, you can also use cold water, and start mixing the mixture. If you have an electric mixer, the better and easier, but I don't have one, so I'll mix it manually. This may take some time, but it's worth it. If you do it by hand, I suggest letting the butter soften a little bit so it would be easier to mix with the flour, and we just have to refrigerate it after. You may attempt to add some more milk, but please don't, because too wet won't work. I still have to mash the butter with my fingertips as it's still quite hard, but it's getting there. It starts to hold now. I just need to knead it in the counter. And there it is. Perfect. We cut it into halves, one for the crust and on the other half for the cover. Starting with the crust, let's start rolling until it's thin and wide enough to cover the pie mold. I have the right size now and I'm putting it to the mold. Make sure also that there's a little bit that hangs out so we can seal the cover together after. Push it down a little bit. And it's ready. Then time for the pie filling. I start by peeling the apples. I have 7 large apples, combination of 4 Granny Smith or green apples and 3 red apples. I'll just have to cut each side. And the remaining small pieces on each side, and then the core is already excluded, and then we cut it into thin slices. This is a perfect combination because green apples are quite sour and then mixed with super sweet red apples. So, time to cook. In a pan, add 1/2 cup of white sugar, 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon cinnamon, 1 teaspoon nutmeg, and mix it all together. Make sure that the heat is set to low temperature as we avoid burning the sugar. When it's about to melt, put all the apple slices, toss it around to make sure all slices will be coated with the mixture. Make sure it's starting to melt now, as you can see, and it's looking good. Okay. The secret here is we have to add lemon zest, about half a lemon. I don't use lemon juice because it's sour and I already have the green apples. I'm afraid it will overpower. And the zest has a very strong lemonade scent that lasts compared to the juice. Apples are getting softer now and the juices start to release, as you can see, and smells so good after the zest. And it's ready. Cool it for a while before putting it to the mold. The filling is not piping hot now, so time to put it inside the mold. Just slowly fill it in. I think I have too much apples because it's already full, but I'll try to put everything. Okay, it's done and time to put the cover. I have rolled it already and I just have to cut it into strips. We need a roller blade here. If you have it, you can use it. It's easier, but unfortunately I don't have one, so I'm using serrated knife. Just make sure you can cut it straight. I'm gliding my other hand in a knife as a guide to make it straight. All good? And let's cover the mold. Starting at the center, put one strip. Then on the opposite direction, put another strip. Back to the first direction, add another strip. It's like weaving. To make a weave, bring up some strips, insert a new one, and vice versa until it's done. And then, fold the hanging crust to seal it. If this looks like complicated, if you can just top it with a crumble, a mixture of flour, butter, and cold milk or cold water, then you're good to go. So, we crimp the edges with a fork to make it look nicer. Brush some egg wash so it looks more appetizing when cooked. I'll put my egg wash halfway through the cooking, then in the oven for 45 minutes at 175 degrees Celsius. Halfway cooked, and I'm putting my egg wash now. I'll put it back for the remaining minutes left. And 45 minutes is over and look how delicious it turns out. Crust is perfect, crunchy, and buttery. Overall, it's super great. It's neither mushy nor dry. That's it, and see you next time.